What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 12, Episode 20, and it's titled More Love, More Problems. So, you guys, before we actually just jump into this review, I want to talk about some of the things that's been happening these last few weeks with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, last week, Nene gave a clip of a song that she's gonna release, and she's gonna release that song next Sunday after the show goes off. It's titled "Honey," I believe. I heard snippets of it, hated it. Um, Also, she did a live last night with Kim Zolciak. I watched some of the live, but then I had to tune out of it because I'm like, yeah, these two are kind of irritating me. I mean, it was alright for the most part. I don't think that Kim. I know Nene would like for Kim to come back to the show. I'm good on Kim coming back to the show, and I think a lot of us are also good on Kim coming back to the show. Um, Also, let's talk about the fact. Now I don't know what happened in this situation between Eva and Nene. I don't know. I think somebody may have asked a question about who Nene would take off the cast and replace them with, and I'm pretty sure. I think she said Eva because of Eva not having a storyline. So then Eva went on her live and she addressed what Nene said. Eva read the hell out of Nene. I will say that much. She called her wide back and all this. I'm like, God damn. So yeah, I'm not really feeling that. Yeah, and then also let's just address this question since I was just talking about Kim and Nene. So like I said, Nene would like it for Kim to come back. How do you guys feel about Kim coming back to the show? Would you be here for Kim coming back? Like, let me know in the comment section below. And then let's talk about this reunion. So, you guys do know that he's still doing Watch What Happens Live, because actually, as soon as the show Fame to Karma goes off, Watch What Happens Live will be featuring Portia and Cynthia from their homes. So Candy also said last week that the reunion is scheduled to be filmed via a video chat. So the reunion is, and Andy said that when he was on Watch What Happens Live with Nene, that the reunion is not canceled, it's just postponed. So how do you guys feel about a reunion being filmed via, what is it? Video chat. Like, let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about that, and we'll discuss it. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this episode review, you guys. All right, you guys. So let's begin this episode review. So we're going to start up with Nene. So all the girls are back in Atlanta from Greece. So Nene is talking to Greg about what happened in Greece. She's also talking to Greg about, he's going to be speaking at the American Cancer Institute. I believe that's what it is. He's going to be speaking for them. So, she's telling Greg everything that happened in Greece. She's telling him how, she and Portia, they were able to, kind of, bury the hatchet and move forward with one another. But, she's talking about the situation with Kenya. She's talking about Kenya ignored her, which Kenya did 100% ignore Nene. But it's almost as if Nene is kind of leaving out information, because then she starts talking about, the whole thing that Portia and Tanya did. And she said, what, I was drinking a little bit. And I'm like, okay. Drinking still doesn't qualify for, doesn't, absolve you of what you did in that situation. Because she said, because she's talking about the fact that Kenya is saying that she called her daughter a buffalo. And she said, I didn't call her no buffalo. And Nene repeated exactly what she said. Now, Nene wants to say that when they were at Cynthia's event last season, that, she spoke to Kenya and Kenya didn't speak to her. So then that's when she said, oh, she's going to have a buffalo, isn't she? Well, if you're saying, oh, she's going to have a buffalo, isn't she? That is referring to her baby. Now, I know what Nene wants to say, what she was trying to say. And if that's what you were trying to say is that she's as big as a buffalo, then you should have said that. But that still would have been fucked up, just like what you said to Portia about her, calling her fat and a pig. So yeah, I mean, there's no way to really spin that situation. And then, she kept talking about she was throwing popcorn at Kenya. That is true. But did you tell Greg? You didn't tell Greg that fixed your mouth to pretend as if you were going to spit at Kenya. You left that out. But I mean, it is what it is. They see it. But I mean, damn, it's like you omitting some of the stuff that you've done, but you want to place all the blame solely on Kenya. So I mean, yeah, yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Let me know in the comment section what you guys feel about that. But let's move on, you guys. All right, guys. Next up, we got Candy. So Candy is at home, and Candy is packing because she has to go out to Chicago to film for The Shine. And we also talk. She also talks about the fact that Blaze is 7 weeks out, and then Todd is just telling her that he's not into this whole sex scene that she has to do on The Shine. And I'm like, okay, understandable, but it's not a real sex scene. Now I get that they might have to have a little bit of nudity, but it's not a real sex scene. But I also get it. You don't want to. I wonder how that is for actors when they're married and they have to pretend have these sex scenes, especially with some of them sex scenes on Power and stuff. So I always wonder how do their spouses feel about that. Um, and then Candy is also talking to Todd about the fact that she wants them to get some couples counseling because of some of the issues that they're just facing right within the last few months. She wants to nip them in the bud before they turn into bigger issues, which I'm like, okay, that's cool. And it makes sense. Let's work on this shit now before it gets bigger and bigger, and then we just ignore it and just sweep it under the rug. So I understood that. So then we see Ace and Todd. So they're in Atlanta while Candy is out there in Chicago. So Candy FaceTimes them, and I really felt so. My heart went out to Ace when he started crying because he missed his mom. Like that separation, like I do know that feeling all too well because I used to feel that all the time with my mom. I'm a mama's boy at heart, so I definitely understood, little Ace. So then we do see that Candy, when she got back home, she was talking to Todd, and she was telling Todd that Don Juan had already booked her for this event. I can't remember what it was for. Was it for iHeart Radio or something like that? And where she's out networking, and Todd says, well, you should be networking with your family. Now I will give him that one, that she you work so much, but find some time to spend time with your family. So I do get that part. But I mean, she is the breadwinner of the family. um and then she says, well, why don't you guys come out to Chicago? And Todd says he can't do that. So then you start to understand a little bit more about what Todd is going through. And Todd's whole thing is he feels like he's had to prove himself to her mom and to the viewing public. But the viewing public, I mean, yes, the viewing public sometimes can say their little slick comments on social media about Todd. But all in all, I think Todd is a good guy, and he was working before they got together. The reason why he's not was because he was on production staff for Real Housewives of Atlanta. He just had to leave his job because he got involved with Candy. And then we all know he did Hollywood Divas that was on TV1. I think that's TV1, you guys, right? So I mean, Todd has done his thing, but I don't know. I feel like Todd. It kind of felt like Todd wanted to blame Candy for not, because he's talking about he got this trucking company. He doesn't want to be a trucker. Then why did you do it? Like, follow your passions. Like, she following what she wants to do. Why don't you, like, when she is not doing whatever it is that Candy's doing, when she has some downtime, or when she's in like with the Atlanta Housewives, when they're post production, why don't you work on some things that you want to work on? Because I know they film. I mean, I know their filming schedule was pretty lengthy, but when they're not filming, take that opportunity to say, hey, Candy, since you are all from Housewives, how about I do this? And then with the Shy, say, okay, so you are from the Shy, how about I do, let me, I want to go out to LA, New York, wherever you want to go, do your production stuff. Like, no one's telling Todd not to do it. I I feel like Todd has gotten a little complacent. Like, that's just what I feel. I could be wrong, but I mean, a marriage is a compromise. So just like he compromised so Candy can do the stuff that she wants to do, she can do the same thing, vice versa. I think Todd just needs to, effectively communicate that to his wife. I think that's what the problem lies, is he's not effective with his communication skills. He lets it harbor inside of him. You know what? I think we the same sign. No, Todd is a Leo, I believe. I believe Todd's a Leo. But yeah, I mean, child, just put it out there. Let them know what it is. Um, he also says he feel like she needs to let some of the stuff go that she's doing now. I don't agree with that. I don't 100% agree with that because at the end of the day, Candy is the breadwinner of that family. So we're just gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna move on. All right, you guys. So next up, let's discuss Cynthia. I don't know why we needed this nothing ass scene with Cynthia, but Cynthia went over to Swag Boutique where Nene is, and Cynthia just wants to talk to Nene about this whole trip to Greece, and mostly about that last night with the Greek tragedy that she and Candy were gonna put on. Do I think Nene completely overreacted to the situation. I don't think that Cynthia was going to do anything malicious. I think it was just to have a good, have a fun time. Number one, close out the trip. Number two, just have a good old time. Let Nene and Kenya, first of all, see what the fuck they look like arguing over something that's minuscule, minute, and stupid as fuck. So, she tells her that. So Nene's like, well, why don't you just show me how you would have acted if you were, if I had sat there and listened to it. So Cynthia, does her rendition of Nene. To me, it was spot on because it is exactly how Nene acts. Now, I don't know about the whole Greg thing, but, it is what it is. So Cynthia walks outside and then we saw a black, what is it, that's a Range Rover, right, you guys? I don't know. But it was Porsche, and Porsche invites him to her event. So they said that they'll both be there. Again, I don't understand why we needed that scene. I really, honestly could have done without it. Let's move on. All right, you guys, let's go to another scene that I really didn't need. So we see Eva. Eva's scene was oddly placed into this episode. Really oddly placed. Now let's talk about Eva because you guys know Watch What Happens Live is currently airing, and I stepped away to watch it for a few minutes. So Andy asked Portia and Cynthia both the question of how did they feel about Nene. Actually, this was a fan question. No, I think it was a fan question or Andy asked a question, one of the two. But how did they feel about the beef between Eva and Nene on social media? Portia made a very valid point that I thought about. I don't know. Now I didn't see what Nene said, so I don't know what was said. But from what I've heard, and from what I've heard, I and this is going off of what I saw on Nene's live last night. It was like a fan asked her a question of who would she keep on the show and who would she take off, and I think she said she would replace Eva with Kim. You guys have to correct me in the comment section if I'm right or wrong. I don't know because I don't follow Nene on social media. The only person you guys know that I follow on Twitter, not on Twitter, on Instagram from Housewives is Portia of Atlanta. And I've also joined Candy's text group. You guys also might hear my neighbors running. They are really getting on my nerves. These are motherfuckers run from early in the morning to late at night. And I get it. If it's kids, I get it. They ain't got shit to do, but they ain't got shit. They don't have to keep me up at night. What the fuck? But yeah. So back to what I was saying, Portia. So Portia said that when it came down to the whole situation between Eva and Nene, she didn't feel that Nene did anything malicious. Whereas when Nene fell out with Portia and when she was on the house with Portia and she was on the house with Cynthia, you guys remember she was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy, and she was she was really, especially when she felt like that first time with Cynthia, she was going hardcore to get Cynthia off the show. And even at the season 9 reunion, when that whole thing came out about Portia, Phaedra, and Candy. You guys remember she was going hard at firing Frick and Frack. You guys remember they fired Phaedra, and Nene was still on the whole thing of, well, y'all should have got rid of both of them. So what Nene said about Eva, it doesn't compare to what she's done to her good friend Cynthia and her little sis Portia. So I mean, I think Eva overreacted, but you know, if that's how Eva took it, that's how she took it. I think even all the fans have said that Eva didn't really have a storyline this season. I know I've said it plenty of times. Eva didn't have a storyline, but I mean that's fine and dandy. She's pregnant, so she can't really interact with the girls. I mean, now we got to look at Potomac with Monique last season. Monique did have a storyline. Now, mind you, she was pregnant, but you know she had a storyline because she got into it with Candace. But yeah. So Eva, back to Eva in this episode. See, I just spent 3 minutes talking about Eva outside of the show, not on the show. But she's had baby Maverick. They're doing a photo shoot. Cynthia comes over, and Cynthia just gives her the rundown on the whole Grease trip about Kenya shading her. She addressing Kenya, Kenya apologizing to her. The fact that Nene and Portia had a conversation, and also that Tanya and what's her name, Kenya had a conversation with each other. That's it. That's it. But again, you guys, please let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this whole Eva and Nene situation. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Kenya. So we see Kenya, and she's meeting up with her estate planner, and you know she's talking about the fact that she doesn't know where her relationship is going with Mark. She doesn't know if they're going to be separated or if it's going to be a divorce. Ugh. You know, I don't know how to feel about Kenya's relationship because parts of me wants to say it's real, but then there's other parts of me that's like this can't be real. It's like, and I'm gonna explain this for anybody. I don't want anybody to get offended by me saying it doesn't seem real. I'm not saying it is fake. It's just kind of It's just things that are very questionable about Kenya and Mark's relationship. Now I don't know what their relationship was like in the beginning, but at this current state where we are in the show, I know Kenya had to have saw some of the warning signs that we are all seeing. Like they're big as a fucking stop sign, and it's like a fucking red light. Like I don't know how you missed these signs. There are a lot of signs that we have saw. I don't know if the signs may became more visible once production got involved, once she came back on the show and the cameras were around. But here now the one thing that is bothersome to me is the fact that you guys have this infant baby and you're well, she's a toddler. She's a toddler. But yeah, I mean the fact that y'all have this baby, you're in Atlanta. Your husband is in New York. Now I know that his restaurants has had some issues as of here lately. But again, I'm like, you guys are 2 years into your marriage. You have a 1 year. You have well now she's one. You guys have a baby. What's the issue? Like, why are you guys not living in the same spot? Now, I get it. If he needs to go and run his restaurants, cool. You know, you go up to New York, however often you need to go up there. But your home should be with your family. And I'm just, and then the way he treats Kenya, because Kenya was talking about the fact that well we'll discuss it in a few minutes, but she was talking to this estate planner about her trust that she's come up with, and she wants her aunt Lisa to be over. I'm like, wait a minute, who the fuck is Lisa? Where's Aunt Lori, aka Auntie Cisco? Shout out to Roxanne, but where's Aunt Lori? Like I haven't saw Aunt Lori in a while. Um, and she's also talking about the fact that she doesn't want Mark to have any access to the trust. That's fine. So then we do see Kenya with her Aunt Lisa, and again, where is Aunt Lori? So, you know, she's talking about the fact that she doesn't want Mark to see Brooklyn, but whenever Mark is in Atlanta, Mark is not coming to her house. That's fine. If you guys argue and fight and yell the way that you say you guys do, then absolutely he doesn't need to be there. And that's another sign. You guys are 2 years into your relationship. I know couples argue and fight, but why are y'all arguing and fighting like that? What what could y'all be arguing? What my question actually is, what are you guys arguing about? Like, what is it that you guys are arguing and fighting about? I don't understand it. Is it that he doesn't like his portrayal on the show? Is it that he doesn't like? Is it that he doesn't like the cameras? What is it like? I'm not understanding what Kenya and Mark are actually arguing, yelling, and fighting over. I think that's where the disconnect comes in at. Um, so yeah, so then Kenya tells her aunt that she wants her to be the one to take care of Brooklyn if anything were to happen to her. And then she also said something else that had a big ass red flag in my head. The fact that Kenya said that Mark doesn't want her to talk to his mother or father. I'm like, what? He's your husband. Those are your in-laws. Those are your daughter's grandparents. But he don't want you to talk to them. Yeah, Kenya, I don't know how you didn't see these warning signs. Like as Destiny's Child said, the writings are on the wall. Thou shalt not hate. The writings are on the wall. Like, come on. Like, I just don't understand how Kenya didn't see that. Maybe Kenya was blinded by love. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just really interesting that she didn't see these warning signs. I mean, because they're right there in your face. But I don't get it. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So next we got Portia. So Portia is a spokesperson for the March of Dimes, and I knew about this because I think you guys know I follow her on Instagram. I keep saying that, but I remember when she posted about this and she had the event. Now, I did not know that the cameras were rolling at that time when she posted it, but I do remember her posting it about it. So all the girls show up. Cynthia shows up, Candy shows up. They both have on the same color. Kenya shows up. Who else showed up? Nene, Tanya, Shamia. All the girls are there to support Portia. Now Nene has to go up to Portia and Tanya to tell them about the blog post. You guys remember back a few months ago when the blogs reported that what's his name, you guys? Mark was cheating on Kenya with a woman, and I think it's his ex with the two kids. Portia defended. Now Portia did defend Kenya. She's like, I don't believe that that's true. And so we saw Candace. She was talking to Cynthia and Kenya, and they're talking about her role on the Shy and the sex scene and how it just felt uncomfortable. It's just really uncomfortable. What did she say? It was uncomfortable. It was interesting for her and crazy. Okay. So Portia, she got up and she told her story about, I think she said, was it 7 years ago that she had that miss. Wow, that was a long time. That was her first season on Real Housewives of Atlanta when she was with Cordell. I'm not gonna imitate it because I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm just laughing thinking about when she was talking about at that her first reunion. Was Cordell at their reunion with her? No, he wasn't at the reunion. That was when he filed for divorce. Oh shit! Because she was talking about she wanted to be at home and have her kids know that mommy was coming. Ooh, you guys know I was watching some old clips of Atlanta, and I forgot how I was watching that season when Claudia Jordan was on there, and I forgot how small Portia was. But she always had. Now see, people always trying to talk about Portia's ass. It's fake. Well, if you guys go back to that season when Claudia Jordan was on there, she was slimmer, but she always had ass. She's always had ass. So I don't know why people say Portia's ass is fake. And then she's gained. I mean, she's gotten bigger over the years, and I'm not. I like. I mean, I think she looks good either way. So people can hate on Portia. I don't give a fuck. Y'all know that's my girl. But yeah, she talked about her miscarriage story, and then Tanya tells her story about finding her forever love later in life, and then she also found out that she doesn't have a lot of egg reserves, and I'm like, that is really sad. It's crazy how men, we can have kids up until damn near our deathbed age, but women, they can't have kids forever. It's just an interesting parallel because I actually have a cousin that has a son, and by the time his son is 18, how old would Bear be? When Bear turns 18, my cousin will be about in his late 60s, early 70s, probably. So I mean, yeah, it's just really interesting. Um, so then Marlo talks about her story, how she's had, I think she said she had two atopic pregnancies, and she just always wondered why couldn't she have kids, but having her nephews, she says maybe I wasn't meant to have kids because I was meant to take care of my nieces and nephews. And then Shamia tells her story about, how, when she went into labor with her daughter, they gave her the epidural, but it didn't take effect. But then they ended up giving her another one that took effect. And, after she had her baby, they weren't able to get her blood to clot. Now, here's a situation that I don't know why this was brought up. Kenya, why did you have to bring up the fact that Shamia called you when her water broke and she didn't call Portia, her best friend? I don't know why that was brought up, but, it is what it is. But you guys, that was Real Housewives of Atlanta. Be sure to like this video. Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Share this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So until then, you guys, peace out.